Hi Scrubs, I hope you're well. So today I'm back in Horsehaven and I'm joined by Kosetsu.
Hello everyone, today we're going to watch as I diamond set a horse from start to finish. So before we do that though, I need to breed the horse. So here as we have on screen, I'm trying to get the tier 2, which I did land on. That's actually really nice that I got it. So then we're going to go ahead and we're going to need to get another tier 2, or if I'm lucky, land on a tier 3. Unlikely though.
While we're waiting for some of these horses to be ready, I just want to discuss kind of around the subject of diamonding and obviously just Horsehaven in general. So how did you get into Horsehaven?
Well, I started playing back in 2016. I just wanted a game that I could play when I was out and about. So this game actually looked pretty appetizing at that point, so I just went with it.
Yeah, I mean, I had Horsehaven suggested to me whenever I was going to start playing it. Oh, you're about to get the tier 3, maybe?
Yeah, it looks like here I'm just looking to see what the genders were.
I always find the elves end up with the one that isn't the one that I was hoping for.
Yeah, that happens a lot to me as well, so I actually need a female tier 2 here, actually, so I think we got it there. Yep, we did.
You did get it, okay. No, I don't really like so much how they've changed the way that this displays. Now, I much prefer the old system to the new one.
I have to agree, I really hate that you can't see the gender after you breed it. You have to wait until it's done breeding to see what gender you got, and that's absolutely ridiculous in my opinion.
I do like the changes to the feeding system though. The horses insta-grow, well, not insta-grow, but become level 5 much easier than they previously did.
So with the feeding, it actually is a lot better than what it used to be, because before you would have to wait in between feeding the foals, and now you don't. So as soon as you get the foal, you can feed it all the way up to level 5, and then once it's level 5, you get one additional feed after that, and then you have to wait to feed it again. So that was a really big improvement there. A lot less wait time to grow your foal into an adult horse.
Yeah, because I really didn't like the old system in that way. It was very, very time consuming.
It was.
Just the amount of feed that sometimes you had to feed just to get the horse to level 5 as well. Oh, tier 3.
Yeah,
yes.
Yep, tier 3 now, so we're all set there. Hopefully it has a good eye color, which I believe we got green.
Do you know what are all the different colors, eye colors you get?
You can get brown. I think there's like this reddish one. I know you can get yellow. I really like the yellow. You can get blue. I believe there's light blue and green, which is my favorite. And
I usually end up with the brown one.
Yeah, I think a lot of people do. So we did get the green eye color here, which is great. So this horse is going to be the horse that gets diamond.
Okay. Do you have any particular name choices that you normally go with your horses?
I do have some favorite names. Argo is actually a horse from, what was it? I can't remember the name of the game right now, but it was of a black horse in a game, and the horse's name was Argo. So I figured since this horse was black, I would go with that name.
Yeah. This is quite a nice tack set, actually. I do like that one.
Yeah, it's the handsome tack. I like the way the colors mesh with the horse on this.
Yeah. I mean, one issue that a lot of the tack sets have, I think that you pointed out to me, was the fact that, especially on some of the smaller horses, especially the ponies, is the girth around the saddle. There's a huge gaping hole.
Yes, I absolutely dislike that, especially when you're taking screenshots in dressage. It looks really ridiculous that you have such slack around the horse.
Yeah.
It's just really weird.
I mean, I've seen it in some other games where, let's say you have a bunch of different models for a particular horse, and then the tack items or other parts of it will kind of be placed very awkwardly. But it's because, depending on the size, it changes with it, so...
So, really quick here before we continue on with any of the questions, we actually are getting the 2 weather skills, and I do this before I level the horse for a very particular reason. I want specific weather skills, and when you level the horse before you have the weather skills, you have a chance of getting a random weather skill. So what I'm really going for here is the Sunstrider and the Ice Runner. So I did get both of those set up before I leveled the horse. So now I'm going to go ahead and level the horse to level 15 and see what skills I get.
So you just feed, obviously, for doing this.
Yep, you can actually use diamonds to skip the feed wait time, but I did not do that. I just did this slowly over a couple of days while I was diamond farming to make sure I maintained my diamonds while I did this.
Do you think it's better to use the feeding items rather than just send your horse out to train?
I particularly think if you're diamonding a horse, you should just feed it. It's faster, especially if you skip. It's a lot faster if you skip. But if you're not going to do that, you can send it out to train. If you're going to be away from the game for hours on end, just send it out to train.
Or I suppose if you're going to sleep, it's a good time to send it out to train.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Because I'll be the first to admit, I'm quite lazy, and even with like some of the ones that don't take that long to feed up to level 15, I'll throw them out into the paddock to train.
Well, active feeding is actually a really good way to level yourself in Horsehaven. So if you have the time to sit there and level or feed your horses, then you'll get more levels. You should definitely be doing that if you're on a low level. Just feed your horses.
Yeah, I suppose the extra benefit of that is if you're feeding your horses, you're gaining XP for not just your horses but yourself, and that in turn obviously is going to allow you to be able to upgrade your ground stables more, or at least have the option to, even if you don't have the diamonds.
Right. So actually right here we're on the last wheel spin, and I got super lucky with this horse. As you notice that I only got one wheel where everything on it was trash. But the other ones I landed a skill on, so this made diamonding this horse that much cheaper.
Yeah. I mean, like, I normally find that I end up landing on food most of the time. Food items or the money as well. Don't typically have a lot of luck with that.
Yeah, my luck on this, this is the first time I've actually had such good luck on it. Normally it does not go this way at all. I usually get maybe one skill and that's it.
So at the minute, you're trying to get the jump skill here on both the Mexican and the Russian steeplechase.
That is correct, because previously you saw I was on the Mexican and the Russian steeplechase getting the weather skill. So now we're going to go ahead and get the jump skill. Now, as you noticed here on the screen, that we are actually not getting the proper visual to the jump skill being upgraded. So here at the end, I'm going to go ahead and show you on the ranch what skill it is actually at.
So it is actually diamond.
Yes, so it is actually a diamond jump now.
I'm sure something that probably quite a lot of people have realised now is you have quite a lot of diamonds. How did you manage to collect so many diamonds in Horsehaven?
So as previously mentioned, I started the game back in 2016, so I have quite a bit of time on the game, but I am not max level because I do kind of play casually. I do work on breeding horses that I'm looking to keep, like the tier 3s and tier 4s. So if I have failure breeds, I keep those horses, I level them to 15, send them out to train, and then once they're level 15, I sell them for the diamonds that they're worth. So all of my other ranches are usually breeding the horses that I'm trying to keep, and then one ranch in particular I'm Mustang farming on.
I mean, I used to use my Isabel Derbies to diamond farm, which, I'll be really honest, don't do that. It's a bad idea, because they take so long to train up, and then a few people suggested I work with the Andalusians, which then I subsequently did. Set up an Andalusian farm. I know a lot of people currently use, I believe it's Mustangs, for diamond farming right now.
That is correct. A lot of people do use that. It's very lucrative right now. It works really well. You can actually feed them yourself too. They're very quick to level up, so if you have time to sit there and active play, you should probably be feeding them for your levels and for the diamonds.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's probably a good thing. I think regardless of what breed you choose, really, is, and I wouldn't advise Isabel Derby, don't do that. It's a terrible idea. For anybody out there that wants to try doing it, I think it's good to have like a particular farm that you kind of just have that solely for that purpose. I think that's possibly a good way to go about it. I mean, I hardly ever have space, being brutally honest, and I would be guilty of not always training every single horse I breed to level 15. I'd sometimes, if I get stuck with keep getting tier 2s of something I'm trying to get a tier 3 of, for example, I will just, if I have no spaces left to throw it in my ground stable and train it, I just tend to chuck it out. Leave it to it, and sell it.
So, talking about space here, this is actually a really good point. The subscription actually gives you extra grand stable space, and that's actually why I'm in such a good position to do things like this, is because I am a subscriber, so I do have extra grand stable space.
Yeah. So you would say that is, if you're someone who is very active and definitely needs more stables, it's a good thing to use?
I would say the subscription is worth it if you spend a lot of time on the game and you actually like the subscription horses. There's a lot of things that were in the subscription that you can now get without being a subscriber. For example, the Constellation 2 horses and some of the tack are available to every player now, so it really depends on your perspective on that.
Yeah. I mean, in terms of, I suppose for someone who hasn't diamonded out a horse before, why would you diamond stat a horse?
You would diamond stat a horse because you would want to get that exclusive horse that you get from being in the top 50 on those races. So you would have to spend a lot of time to actually diamond that horse. You could also use your diamond statted horses to have a better chance at those high-end chests to get the puzzle pieces. That's really another good use for a diamond stat horse.
And like, if you were, I know for me, for example, if we take my Isabel Derby, I think whenever I went to diamond it out, I didn't use many diamonds. I kind of tried to use as few as possible. But for you, when you were diamond this honor horse, for example, how many diamonds did it cost you to do this? Because you were doing this quite quickly, weren't you?
It cost roughly around 6 to 7k diamonds. I did do this really fast. The faster you do it, the higher the cost on diamonds. It can get pretty costly.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I remember, it was an event that happened quite a little while ago, but I think it was one of the events where you got tickets and you could visit friends' ranches, breed with friends' horses, and pet friends' horses, I think, in order to get these tickets. And those tickets you could use in place of diamonds whenever you did the steeplechases, and I think, for me at least, I think that would be really a good way, if you didn't have a lot of diamonds, to actually work on running steeplechases to the length that you need. Being able to use those tickets in place of the diamonds to keep going in the races, would you say that's something that you've used in the past?
I definitely have used that in the past. It's a great way to save yourself diamonds. I've done it on a season star horse. It's great. It's honestly one of the greatest things. If you are actually going to use those tickets for breeding, though, you may not get that extra savings.
Yeah. I mean, do you think if someone's maybe going to consider doing their first diamonded out horse, would that be a really good way to start with it? Because I know, obviously, I guess a benefit, I don't know if you would agree, but is having a diamonded horse means it's much easier then to get more diamonded horses in the future?
Yes, it definitely is. It makes it a lot easier because you can go longer distances without having to use diamonds. So it really helps.
Yeah. So you've just got your first diamond weather skill there?
Yeah,
Ice runner?
the ice runner. So I needed to reset Brazil after this because I wasn't going to wait. I wasn't going to have enough of these races, so I had to reset it. So you're going to see me have to go a large distance in comparison to seeing the first set of the Brazil race here. So here we go again, and go ahead and take a look at the distances that I needed to go this time. So when you're diamonding a horse, it might be a good idea to only reset the race maybe once. If you do it more than that, the distance that you need to run to get the skills is going to be pretty ridiculous.
Oh, so it's not the same every time that you reset it?
No, it is not.
Okay. How much further do you normally have to do it?
So here, we have the 9,000 meters. That is almost what 4,000 more meters than the last one, I believe.
Wow. Okay, that is a lot.
So now that we're done with the ice runner, I'm actually going to be starting on the Sunstrider.
Is there any reason that you wouldn't choose the other weather skill?
Thunderhoof. That one doesn't appear very often, so I find it to be the least worth.
Yeah. So you'd think you'd get more out of a horse that has Ice Runner and Sunstrider as its diamond skills than a horse that would use Thunderhoof instead. Yes.
Thunderhoof, like I said, appears very rarely unless they change it.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, like, when I think about it, when I get steeplechases and events, there isn't really that many that have rain on them, or if it does, it's maybe one day every once in a while, especially in those shorter races that we do on the track. I don't really tend to get a lot of them when I think about it.
So just really quick here, I just want to say that I did wait until the weekly, that's not a weekly, but there is a reset that you can wait for to get new skills. So here I waited for the reset so I don't have to run as far or reset the race to now get the Diamond Sunstrider.
I mean, I do the exact same thing on the horses that I have made progress towards diamonding. My Isabel Derby is the only one that is fully diamonded, although it has only got one diamonded weather skill. And then with two others that I have, some of them have some diamonded skills, and then some of them are just gold. They're not fully finished in that regard. But I kind of do that is every once in a while I'll take a notion to actually run one of the steeplechases to the point of actually getting a weather skill, or getting one of the stat skills, and that's when I will actually go ahead and do that. So for me, that's a very useful thing, is to have that reset available.
Yeah, I would say that generally I only diamond stat one weather skill per reset, so that way I don't spend so much diamonds, but it's still pretty quick, because usually you do it on the first set during the event that came out, and then you wait for the reset, and then you get the second diamond skill. Now, I don't do this for every horse. Honor is one of the very few that I really liked enough to diamond stat both weather skills. Usually one weather skill on a horse is perfectly fine.
Yeah, it would normally be sufficient, really, for what you're doing.
Right.
Is there any particular things you would look out for whenever you're picking a horse to diamond out? Because, like, for me, I look at the base skills and whether I think, oh, this is a horse that I definitely want to use for this, because the skills are already quite high. Maybe it already has a gold, for example, that would make it easier and take less time. Because I think if it's, like, you could have a really pretty horse that has all of the bronze skills, and I just think to myself, that's too much work.
It is a lot of work, but from my perspective, I only diamond horses I like. And usually they have to be tier 3 or tier 4. And the reason for that is because of the energy. Now, if you diamond stat a tier 1 and the energy is so low, you're only going to get to use that horse so many times a day or so many races before you have to refill the energy with diamonds, or you have to feed it constantly. So picking a horse that you like and making sure it's within, you know, the goals, you know, the energy or the stats that you want is good.
Yeah, because I think when I think about some of the horses that I have decided to diamond, there's definitely a few there that I'm like, energy bar isn't really that great, and I probably could have picked ones with a bigger energy bar, or possibly a higher tier. My Isabel Derby's only a tier 3, for example. One of my other ones is a tier 4. And another one was the Ancient General, which I think is only tier 3 as well, so they don't have a massive energy bar. One of the first horses I ever diamond started, I think I mentioned, obviously being All Might, my Isabel Derby, and the reason I chose that horse was because it was my first exclusive horse that I ever got in the game, from what I recall anyway, and it was quite special to me. It was why I wanted to diamond that horse out. And I suppose the positive of that as well, as it being a tier 3 and an exclusive, it did have decent base stats, and it also had a reasonable sized energy bar. But do you think for anybody out there that wants to start diamond statting horses, do you have any tips for them?
Yes, I would always start with the jump skill first. It's really good for the Nordic and Japan race where they have really high jumps. It makes that a lot easier so you don't run into it and lose stamina. The next skill that I would go after is the stamina. That way you can run longer distances without having to use diamonds to continue. And then the last skill that I would go for is speed. Speed can get tricky on the races such as Australia. The camera is really zoomed in, and the faster you go, the harder it is to react to the jumps.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, like, whenever I think of the Australia race, you can't really see anything when you're running that one at all. Do you have any ones that you really like, or any ones that you dislike?
So like I said, the Australia race, it is awful. It is way too zoomed in.
Yeah, it's not an easy race to see, because you literally, there'll be a jump and it'll be in your face before you've ever time to react and actually jump over it. So yeah, I get what you're saying. It would probably make no sense to have a fully like diamonded out speed skill and then try to go into that race. I can see why that could cause major issues, because the slower your horse is, it's going to give you the time to react when it comes to doing that race.
Yeah, the other race that I would have to say is my second least favorite is the Nordic race.
There are a lot of camera changes in that Nordic race.
There are.
It does seem to fly about a bit. It's a little bit disoriented.
That low camera is the biggest problem, because when you're going over those bridges, those jumps, those low ones that you can't see, you just run into them because you can't see it.
Yeah, you can't see where you're going. No, I get what you mean with that. No, definitely. What would be your favourite race, do you think, out of them?
So my favorite race is the Japan race. I like it a lot. It's very visually pleasing. I find it to be easy. It gives a lot of coins. I just really like that race.
I mean, I would agree with the visual aspect of it. I really do like the pink and the cherry blossom trees in the background. I think it is very nice and picturesque, and also the fact, I guess, that the camera's zoomed out. But there's two things that I don't like about that race. It's the height of the fences, and whenever it gets into the later part of that set of races, I honestly can't do it most of the time. I usually crash in those big fences, and then randomly sometimes I find in that race, I don't know if you've noticed this, but like you get the heart that's like at the bottom of one of the big fences that you literally cannot get unless you just run through the fence.
Yeah, I've seen that happen. It actually has given me all of those hearts and the speed boost. I'm not even sure if it's a speed boost because it doesn't actually look like it works, but it's actually worked for me even though I jumped over it.
That's weird. Maybe I'm just bad. I don't know.
It could be that it's glitched out because of the subscription magnet.
That could be it as well, actually, whenever I think about it. I mean, if I was going to pick a favourite race, I like the simplicity of the Mexican steeplechase, but I also kind of like the Russian steeplechase as well, just because I kind of like it in the same way that I like the visuals of the Japanese steeplechase. I quite like the Russian snowy backdrop, but I think for simplicity and how nice and easy it is to do, the Mexican steeplechase for me wins hands down every time. For anyone who is unfamiliar with the base stats on Horsehaven, could you explain how a horse goes from its base stats to diamond, and how many stat upgrades would you need to do?
Sure, this is dependent on the horse's starting base stats. So basically it's bronze 1, bronze 2, silver 1, silver 2, gold 1, gold 2, and finally diamond. So for example, if your horse starts with 0 in that particular stat, you have to go up 7 times to get it to diamond.
Okay. And if a horse, let's say, for example, already had a bronze 1, then it's only going to take 6.
Correct.
And if it had a bronze 2, it's only going to take 4. No, sorry, 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I understand though. You're about to get your diamond Sunstrider.
Yep, so this is the final stat here.
So, yeah, that is a lot of diamonds.
Yes, it is.
But here you're ruling out the possibility of getting anything but that from there.
So today we showed 2 different tax sets on Honor. Please let us know which one you liked more. And now I'm going to hand it back over to TC.
So if you guys have any more questions from some of the topics we've discussed today, just let me know down in the comments below. Anyway, Scrubs, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you have a lovely day, and bye guys!